Have you ever stared at a brand new blank canvas with an exciting idea but not able to start? That lovely white bit of stretched cloth. You don't want to mess that up, especially if you've paid money for it or it's particularly a lovely quality custom-made job. It's not just a piece of stretched cloth, it's an expensive void. A silent, judgmental void that is calling you to make something out of an expensive piece of nothing. That right there is enough to make artist block. What if I ruin that beautiful quality canvas? But that's where it all begins, the creative process. Damaging, ruining, messing up that lovely piece of perfect nothing. To overcome this kind of artist block, many artists will do the opposite and buy a cheap as chips canvas and then labour with it to try and make a work that looks expensive. These cheap imitations are awful to work on. They make the paint look dry and dirty. They rip if you sneeze and warp if you laugh. Recycling surfaces, painting on board or on something small, on paper and in journals is a better option. You don't need to spend a lot of money to get a quality surface. In this demonstration, I'm painting on 9mm MDF board that I've primed with paint left over from other paintings. I haven't spent a lot, but the quality is archival. So, you have an idea, or maybe it's not even an idea, it's more like a feeling, a glimpse of something that you want to make visible. Whatever it is, it's itching to get out. So you pick up a brush thinking, all right, here we go. But the minute you touch the canvas, that glimpse turns to confusion, a messy pile of paint blobs, wet, dank slop that looks the opposite to the vibrant chaos you were hoping to achieve. It all happened without you even realizing that it was happening. Therein lies the first lie of creativity. It's that it's linear. You think you're going to sit down, have a vision and execute it without a struggle. But painting is chaos. Painting is a struggle. You can't really control it in the same way you imagine it. You wrestle with it. Paint has a mind of its own. Chaos doesn't mean carelessness, however. There's a rhythm you develop into some kind of form and slowly it begins to make sense. Shapes emerge, half-formed, arranged one next to the other, some accidentally, some purposely, but eventually it begins to make some sense. Sometimes you step back and see something that you didn't expect. That curve looks like a shoulder, a shadow that feels like late afternoon. The painting starts talking back to you. Go this way. Do that. Use the force, Luke. Then comes the hard part, the middle. The middle of the painting is a beast. It's not called the ugly middle without reason. You've got this messy, half-finished thing in front of you, and you have to resolve it into something beautiful without losing it to overthinking and overworking. This is where doubt creeps in. This is where you sabotage your ideas by focusing on the outcome before it's even halfway there. Disappearing your beautiful paint marks with blendy hopes of perfection. This is where you try to be too precise, too clever, and this is where you give up. But this is where you need the most courage, not only to make some big changes to the work you've already done, but also to leave well alone some of the work you've already done. There are bits that look unfinished, but beautifully support the parts that you want to continue working on. These scribbled, painterly supporting marks are lovely just as they are in their raw, unfinished state. They look like paint marks and make the work an actual painting looking like an actual painting that's been painted with actual paint. Knowing when to stop is a skill that develops over time, and that's harder than it sounds. You can easily overwork a painting, smothering it with too many layers and too much fussing. Overworked paintings are a painter's nightmare. There's a temptation to keep tweaking to make it perfect, but perfection is a trap. A painting isn't meant to be perfect, so step back a lot. Start another work before you finish the one you're working on so you can put the excess paint somewhere other than what you're working on. Then you can be objective in the decisions you make at the final stages of the painting process. Make decisions about painting, not the materials waiting to be used. And then, sometimes, you'll come back to complete the nearly finished painting and realize all it needs is your signature.